What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. This is going to be a really good comparison video. The Galaxy Z Fold 5 versus the OnePlus Open. This retails for $1799. This retails for $1,700. Obviously, there's promotions and deals that go on all throughout the year, but retail price, that's what these come in at. So we're going to start off with some photos and video tests, and we're going to go from there. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Yoongi. Well, he's not looking. Shoko. Come here, Shok. Come here, Shoko. Come here, girl. Come here. She's getting older. She gets some bad knees. That's why she looks like she's limping. There she is. But she's a sweet girl still, regardless of her knees. Check out the palm trees on here. Basketball hoop. What do you guys think? Go back to Yoongi. Yoongi. Come here, Yoong. Good boy. All right, I'm going to flip these around. Okay, what do you guys think? Hopefully I'm not too close on these, but this is, again, 4K. This is the rare cameras, the main cameras on here. So which one do you guys think looks and sounds better? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's go back to the Sun. I have these both at 1x, but it looks like the OnePlus phone definitely crops in pretty good on air. So now I'm on the inside camera of the main display. Now the big difference with this one is the Samsung one sits underneath the display, only shoots at 1080, and the inside display of the main display, whatever you want to call it, of the OnePlus actually is on top of the display and records at 4K. So I would expect the OnePlus one to look a lot better, but I guess we'll find out at the end of this video. Kind of doing that same kind of test with seeing how it handles the sun and the microphone sound and how also the stabilization is. And then the next one you're going to love because we're going to put it on the dogs. Here's like a better look at this. I think the Samsung one's pulling me in a little bit. I might have to crop in on the OnePlus. But what do you guys think? All right, here we go with the front cameras on the front displays of the OnePlus Open and the Galaxy Z Fold 5. And let's just check them out. They're both at 4K 30. See how they respond to the sunshine with my face, if it gets too white or too red or whatever. Ooh, the sun is strong right now. What do you guys think? Which one looks and sounds better? What do you guys think? We'll do this too. Let's do a little bit of this. A little bit of sun behind my back. Which one handles the sun better? There we go. Man, it was like 40 degrees and now it's like 80. It's crazy how the weather gets here in the colder months. It's October right now. All right, we have the back cameras. Now I'm just going to do a little, there's the front of the house, show the palm trees, see if you can see them at all. Probably looks awful. There, see, it's picking up some of the light now. What do you guys think? Which one looks better at night? And I'll turn it around on me. All right, here we go. We got the night video on. What do you guys think? Put myself in the light. Walk away from the light. Stabilization. How noisy the video gets, let me know. All right, here we go with the inside cameras. Again, I'm pretty far away. It's pretty dark here. Hopefully you can see if the stabilization is good or not, the quality of the video, the microphones, all that stuff. Obviously the microphones don't really matter at night, but I'll walk towards the light here. What do you guys think? Which one looks better? All right, guys, so here's a nighttime video. Front camera, front display. A little bit of light. I have it right in front of me. I'm gonna turn all the way around. I'm gonna walk away from it now so you can see how good the stabilization is and also how good the quality of the video, how noisy it gets overall from here. What do you guys think? All right, so let's talk about the photos from all the cameras on here. I feel like on a regular basis, the OnePlus Open takes darker photos and the Z Fold 5 takes more lighter photos. And it's at that point, I wouldn't say like one's better than the other over just based off that. It's really gonna be a preference. I sometimes prefer the darker photos of the OnePlus Open. Sometimes I prefer the photos from the Z Fold 5, like the lighter looking photos. So that's what it comes down to with that. But the overall quality of the photos, I felt like the Z Fold 5 more times than not was a better looking photo, again, in the samples that I took. Next was video. I felt like the Z Fold 5 looked a little sharper, but against skin tones, I felt like the OnePlus Open looked sharper, and I like a sharper looking video. But all the other videos I shot in terms of the cameras, you know, when I wasn't pointed at a human, if it was pointed at my dog or a tree or the sky or something, I preferred the Z Fold 5, again, in daytime videos. So it's kind of a toss-up of which you would choose, but I wouldn't say there was a huge difference. Like if I personally had a Z Fold 5 and I was shooting video, I would be like, it looks awful. I probably wouldn't say that. Next up would be the main inside displays. The Z Fold 5 camera surprised me, and man, it actually looks sharper. Even though it was 1080p on the Z Fold 5 and it's underneath the display, to me it looks sharper than the OnePlus Open. It's kind of weird. But again, it's gonna be a toss-up of what you'd like better on there. The video in general is very close, but if I had to pick a winner, man, it's tough. Maybe the OnePlus Open, but then sometimes the Z Fold 5. The nighttime photos, I felt like more times than not, the OnePlus Open did a slightly better job on there, especially with like when there was lighting in there, it like didn't make any flare-ups and it made that look a little bit better. OnePlus, the video, I should say, at night was shaky on the OnePlus Open. It was pretty steady on the Z Fold 5, and I felt like the Z Fold 5 overall had better nighttime video. So, you know, this is from all the marketing and all the hype going behind it. You would think that the OnePlus Open was going to destroy the camera on the Z Fold 5, and I don't think it did. It sometimes it beat it, sometimes it didn't, and that's kind of the moral of this whole video as we go through it. So let's get through to the next part of this. All right, so let's first get into design. You can see the design of both of these are slightly different. So the inside display looks a lot wider on the OnePlus Open versus the Galaxy Z Fold 5. Me personally, I have to admit that I was wanting a bigger inside display, but I'm feeling lately like the Z Fold 5 is probably the best inside display design overall. Now, you can fit more on this display overall versus this one in terms of when you like multitask and stuff like that, you can see more, but it's still, you know, it's just such a versatile inside display. It's really amazing overall for that inside display. But, you know, going back to the design, let's take a look at the back of the phones. I prefer, this is just really gaudy looking. It doesn't look awful, but it's just really gaudy looking. It looks premium, don't get me wrong. I prefer the camera design on the Z Fold 5, but I mean, this does look like it's, if I looked at both of these, I would think that the back of this one has a better camera, just if I had no idea. And I like the flash up there, it looks pretty cool. OnePlus design, it's not bad at all. The hinge, really small hinge. Here's the tops of the phone. Here's the bottom. Both close flat. The outside display, I should say. Here's a look at those. And these outside displays, I prefer the OnePlus Open because it's bigger. You can use it easier. So overall design, I'd probably have to give it to the OnePlus Open overall. I think it looks better. It looks more, I wouldn't say it feels more premium. They both feel really premium. This feels a little bit lighter than the Z Fold 5, even though it's kind of a bigger phone. But overall, both are really, really nice. But yeah, premium wise, like what they look like, I'd have to give it to the OnePlus Open for being a better looking phone. Also, holding them in your hand, they're both obviously really easy to hold. This is easier to hold because it's thinner, but I feel it, if you're gonna do work on this outside one, it's a lot less usable than this one, but this isn't bad at all when you hold it in your hand. And then when you open them up, they're gonna be most likely two-handed phones when you use it. You could use it one hand or put a pop socket or something on them overall. So one-handed use or just easier to hold, I'd have to give it to the Z Fold 5. Battery life on these phones, I get about the same. I get a little over 6 hours of battery life. I can, probably eke out a little bit more maybe on the OnePlus Open, but they're both really, really close. I'd give it a tie for the most part on the battery life with these. Obviously, battery life is going to be different for everybody. You might only get 4.5 or 5 hours if you're on 5G all day and you have no signal or really bad signal. So it all depends. But for me personally, I get about the same battery life, so I'll give it a tie, and that's over 6 hours of screen on time for both. Performance. OnePlus Open, I would say, wins. Why does it win? Well, they both can game and do really, really well on that. But the overall performance, like the smoothness of everything, is definitely better on the OnePlus Open. It's the smoothest experience that you'll get on a folding phone in the Western world. Both of these are very fast, don't get me wrong, but they're just the smoothness of using this. It's so smooth on the OnePlus Open. It's smoother than the Z Fold 5 overall, but gaming and stuff like that, it's going to be very, very close. You're not going to see much of a difference. They both run the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. This has 16 gigs of RAM, this has 12, but where you're going to see that RAM is really keeping apps open and things like that overall. But gaming, it's going to be very, very similar. I like to go through this game because it's just a pretty looking game on Roblox, and I can generally get good frame rates on this. One's looking a little laggy today. I'm not sure why. That's better. I just needed some time to catch up. But this game runs very similar on both phones for the most part. Again, this one's just lagging a little bit. I am on beta software on the Z Fold 5. Usually, it's funny, when I run this way, it's better versus this way. There it goes. It's starting to catch up. I don't know what's going on in the game, but this game is a really nice looking game. This map, I should say, for Roblox. And I have the graphics turned all the way up. So there's that game on the Z Fold 5. Now this game is looking really weird anyway on this phone. Not sure why, but it's running perfectly fine in terms of its frame rates and stuff like that. So, overall gaming and stuff is going to be very, very similar because they both have the same processor, but just smoothness overall, definitely the OnePlus Open. So the winner of best performance, I got to give it to the OnePlus Open. Displays, let's first talk about these outside displays. Now, these outside displays are going to be, man, I know some of you guys love this outside display or like it because it's so skinny, so one-handed, so easy to use. But when I'm using these, I just don't want to live in that world, and it doesn't come across all that fun to use. It's just not, it's just a phone that generally isn't interesting to me anyways to use. So let me pull up. I'm gonna pull up the Roblox page here, and they both look kind of similar when you're looking at them. So you can see it's just easier to read on there. So here's a website on here, and you can see about the same amount. Let's go into an article here, and this is loading up a desktop page. Let me reload that. There we go. So when you look at this, which one would you rather read and use? Me personally, I'd much rather use this one, the OnePlus Open. I think it's a much more enjoyable experience. I'll bring up the keyboard. Here's the keyboard. This is a major thing. Look how much better the keyboard is bigger and better to use on the OnePlus Open. It's a much more normal sized phone. I'll pull up a phone here. Here's the iPhone. It's dead right now, but you can see the displays are not that different. So with the OnePlus Open, it's like you're getting a regular sized phone on the outside, and on the inside you get this huge, you know, almost tablet-like experience. Here's what a video looks like on both of these phones. It's definitely bigger on the OnePlus Open because it does have a bigger display, but it's not so small on the Z Fold 5 where you're like, it just doesn't look right. You're holding them this way, you can see, you know, slightly bigger window again for the OnePlus Open. Here they are for 4K fully open. And the bars are, the black bars anyway, are bigger on the OnePlus Open because of the display. So neither of them are perfect in this orientation, but in case you were just curious, and I'll turn them back this way, full screen, just so you can see. And OnePlus Open, again, is a little bit bigger, but you know, not a huge amount where it would really make a difference. So for displays, I would personally give it the win on the inside to the Z Fold 5 because I like the size and everything. But for the outside display, I'd give it to the OnePlus Open. I think that's more usable. Also, I like the way the display looks better on the Z Fold 5, the colors, the saturation, everything about it. The brightness even feels a little bit brighter to me at times on the Z Fold 5 than the OnePlus Open, even though it has not as a bright a display as the OnePlus Open. So, man, it's close. I guess I gave you my answer, so. All right, so we got direct sun in the phones themselves, directly into them. Hopefully you can see the difference. The Z Fold 5 is a little bit more of a yellow display in here. I can see them both really, really well, but I'd have to give the brightness, at least in this test that I've seen so far, to the OnePlus Open on the front displays here. It looks a little bit brighter, a little bit easier to read. And then on this display, again, it's kind of the same thing for the most part of seeing them outside in the sun. I feel like the OnePlus Open is a little bit easier to see in this sun. The sun's not super strong right now, but it's just a little bit easier to see with the OnePlus Open. Taking the win, I would say, for this test on the brightness. And it probably should because it does have a brighter display.
Let me know when you hear me, be up for a smoke outside. Let me know when you hear me, be up for a smoke outside. I regret what I said, didn't mean it. You believe me, I guess I'll take it back. I regret what I said, didn't mean it. You believe me, I guess I'll take it back. There's a party downtown,
Man, they're really close in sound. Even though this has a tri-speaker setup on the OnePlus Open, Z Fold 5 sound, and this only has a dual speaker setup, this sounds more trebly, more loud almost, and this sounds a little bit more full. It's a tough call on that one. It's really gonna be a preference thing for you, at least on the quality of everything. But if I had to pick an ultimate winner, I guess I'd... Z Fold 5 sounds a little clearer. This sounds a little bit more muffled, so I guess I'd give the winner to this song to the Z Fold 5.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily, your source for daily tech news. Make sure you subscribe. What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily, your source for daily tech news. Make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on in the world of tech. How is everyone? World of tech. How is everyone doing? I hope you have.
Man, they both sound good. But if I was hearing both of these, I like the clarity of the Z Fold 5, so I'm going to give that the speaker win. Biometrics. Now, both of these have face unlock. Both of them, I feel like in that regard, work pretty well. It's hard to pick a winner for the face unlock. I wouldn't say one's better than the other, but fingerprint, I like the Z Fold 5 better. It's easier to find. I feel like it sticks out and makes it a little bit easier to work with. And I feel it's a little more accurate than the OnePlus one. Even though like when I hold these, it feels like the OnePlus one stands out more. I just know when I'm using these with my case and stuff like that, and even when I see it on screen to unlock a banking app or something, I have more success with the Z Fold 5 fingerprint sensor. So I've got to give the biometrics win to the Z Fold 5. Charging, man, so this is kind of crazy. So Z Fold 5 has wireless charging, and you can charge devices on the back as well. Charges wirelessly 15 watt. You can also wire charge for 25 watts. With the OnePlus Open, you get 67 watts of fast charging via a wire, and then there's no wireless charging at all. So wired charging, definitely the win goes to the OnePlus Open, but since it doesn't have wireless charging, then you got to give it to the Z Fold 5. So I'd call it a tie, because some people really want and love wireless charging, and there's other people who want really fast wired charging. So if I had, me personally, if I had to pick a winner, I'd choose the OnePlus Open, because wired charging is a lot more important and necessary than having slightly fast wire charging and then wireless charging. I almost never use wireless charging. So for me, if I had to pick a winner, I'd choose the OnePlus Open for the charging. In terms of software, what do we got going on here? Well, both phones are really customizable for the most part. Now, this doesn't have themes per se, but you can add a lot of things in there in terms of themes if you want. If you come in here and then you go into your home screen and lock screen, or wallpapers and style, I'm sorry. You can change your wallpapers, you can change your always on display really easily. You can change your fonts, you can change your icons, you can change your colors for like your, the colors throughout your system. Quick settings, you can change your edge lighting, and Samsung can basically do all that too, but it has a one-stop shop for a theme store. So if you come into themes, you can get free and paid themes and use this to your heart's content. It'll change the sounds, the backgrounds, pretty much everything about the phone, the wallpapers, the call screens, the text messaging apps, all that stuff. And it's really cool. It's also got a wallpaper store built in and an icon store built in, and always on display store. It has all that stuff, customizable stuff you can do. I'd probably give it to the Samsung. You have Good Lock on here that allows you to change and do really anything that you want. It's an amazing piece of software built into Samsung's. OnePlus doesn't have anything like that, but like I said, OnePlus has a lot of stuff in here to change. There's all kinds of stuff. So it really comes to, and it has a kid space just like Samsung does, and a sidebar like Samsung does. It has all kinds of cool stuff built in. It's I wouldn't say that, I guess it comes down to like how they're both easy actually to customize and control, and the software experience really nice. This is a smoother software experience. This is probably a more robust software experience. So if we're just talking software and UI outside of how it performs, I'd give it to the Z Fold 5. In conclusion, which phone should you choose out of these two? It's really going to come down to what's important to you. You can buy an S Pen with this one. You can import one on the OnePlus. It's going to be a little bit more expensive and probably harder to get. But I didn't really talk about that much the S Pens. But if you need an S Pen, Samsung's definitely the way to go with that, just because it's much easier to get, and they have cases and everything that will hold it. But everything else, it's like if you want the OnePlus, you should be getting it because you want basically the smoothest, fastest experience on the UI. You want everything on this is definitely competes with the Z Fold 5. So even though I personally like the speakers better on the Z Fold 5, these speakers are still really loud and really great. The charging's nice. It doesn't have wireless charging, but it's got the wired charging on there. The cameras are decent. They're not bad at all. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. The displays are bright. The displays are big on here. It's powerful. There's a lot to like about this phone. Then you got the Z Fold 5, which has, this is the 5th generation of phone that is coming from their folding line. And again, it's powerful. It's got S Pen support. It's got great speakers. It's got decent cameras. It's got charging wireless and wired that is pretty fast. Not the fastest you can get, but it's not terrible. The displays are pretty good size. I don't like the outside display size, but the inside display to me is pretty near perfect. It's a great phone. So you're not going to go wrong with either one. Me personally, if I personally had to choose after using both of these phones, I would personally choose the Z Fold 5 at this point. For me, it's more comfortable. I like the screen better on the Z Fold 5, like the way the colors and everything look. I like my photos to be a little bit brighter. I haven't been blown away by the camera on the OnePlus Open like I thought I was going to be. And I like the software experience overall. It feels right. It feels, at this point in time. It might not be the smoothest, it might not be the fastest feeling, but it just feels right. And it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel too gimmicky. So there you guys go. Let me know which phone you would choose in the comments down below. Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.